So I was a freshman at BYU. It was 2012, and I had given up a volleyball scholarship to go to BYU just because I felt like that's what I should do. And I was kind of, one day I was just sitting in the temple pondering why I had done that and kind of feeling a little overwhelmed because everyone at BYU is great at something and I was not great at anything, or that's what it felt like at the time. And then I was sitting there and I had a prompting that it was because Heavenly Father needed me to serve a mission. And then a couple days later was General Conference, and that's when President Monson made the age change. And I didn't realize that it would be that fast that I would be going on a mission, but it's definitely, after I prayed about it again, that's when I decided that was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go and serve a mission. I had taken 5 years of French, and I had heard that they'd shorten the time that we would be in the MTC from 9 weeks to 6 weeks if you're speaking a Romance language. And so I was convinced that I would be going somewhere French speaking because I already had that under my belt and I knew that they needed missionaries to get out fast. And so I made sure to put that on my application and that I was willing to learn a second language. But then when I got my call, the first line tells you where you're going, and so I read Brisbane, Australia, and I was shocked because but that's cool, I get to go out of the country and still speak English. But then I was in Helaman Halls and all my friends were there, someone asked, when do you report? And so I started to read more, and then I gasped because it said you'll prepare to serve in the Mandarin Chinese language. And I was just overwhelmed. I couldn't speak for a couple of minutes because I was just so surprised that I was going to be speaking Chinese, a language I didn't even know how to say hello in. I said konnichiwa when I first. Someone said, say something in Chinese, and I spoke Japanese. So it was a very big surprise. I just remember walking in the very first day into the classroom, and my teacher stood there and only spoke Chinese. And I just remember feeling very overwhelmed because he wasn't writing characters on the board. He was writing what's called pinyin, but I had no idea what that was. And as time progressed, my teachers were really patient with me. I was the only one in my class that hadn't had any previous Chinese exposure. And so they took a lot of time with me to teach me how to read the pinyin and to pronounce things and to make sure that I felt comfortable. And at one point, I went from being at the lowest in the class to being in the upper tier. And that was just a huge testimony builder to me that I had been blessed with the gift of tongues because Heavenly Father was helping me conquer this, what seemed like an impossible language. And it's still hard to learn how to read and write it, but I know that I was blessed with the gift of tongues as I was in the MTC and in my mission as well.